Scott Brown here. In today's exciting episode, we are continuing with the pole house on a hill. It's on timber piles, and those timber piles go into the ground. And in this exciting episode, we are continuing with the floor framing. And I'm going to talk about why we put treated timber piles in the ground. This would be the high end of the property, where our frame is closest to the ground, and this end is where the hill slopes right down and the poles get higher and higher. Is this how you build houses in Germany?
No. Because we don't have a builder as such. We have a carpenter who does the roof, right? The joiner who does all the finishing work, you know, like putting windows in, doors in.
So in the last episode, there was quite a few comments about us putting treated timber into the ground. A lot of people going, that's a bit crazy, why don't you do concrete piers? Why don't you do it differently? What if the timber rots? Now this is something we've been doing in New Zealand for decades and decades. And there's a few reasons we do it this way. One of the reasons is we're surrounded by forests here in New Zealand. There's timber everywhere. So using timber piles is one of the most efficient, cost-effective ways to do foundations. Another reason, this is on a big fat hill, this particular property. Down at the end there, we're around about 600 mils from the ground, and towards the end here we are at least 3 meters out of the ground. Oh, it's really starting to get high now. Timber piles makes a lot more sense. One thing to reiterate is that the timber is loaded with chemicals. Not very healthy for humans, but also bugs don't like it either. They don't eat away at that timber. It can be in there for 50 plus years. And this particular level of treatment is H5, which is only one down from the top one, H6, which is what they use in wharfs. And they pile drive that right into the ground, into the seawater, and they last for decades as well. The timber house here should be fine. And the final reason, and the thing I think most people forget, is that we are in an earthquake country. The Shaky Isles is what New Zealand is affectionately known as. We have a lot of earthquakes, man, and timber piles have a lot of give. The owner is also the architect, and he wouldn't design something that he didn't trust. And he was telling me how he lived in a house across the valley there. During an earthquake, the house was shaking like this, he said. Even after the earthquake stopped, it was a couple of minutes before it stopped shaking. So if you're in a concrete or brick house, that's just going to crack, break. Don't get me wrong, there are ways to make concrete foundations that can withstand earthquakes. They probably do it all over the world. But for all those other reasons I stated, we go with timber piles. Maybe if you know a little bit more about this than I do, I'm not an engineer, let me know in the comments below. But those are just some of the reasons we put timber piles in the ground. Chris is a shorts ambassador as well.
Yeah.
So,
I was meant to get 17 this week.
oh yeah?
Thursday, 17
a balmy 17. Yeah. So this plate here is going on top of the block wall. Then the stringer joists are going to be attached to that. This is kind of floor level.
You done that on purpose, Scott.
What have you been up to?
Surgery. So I was off work for a while.
Oh yeah, me and you have something in common. We've both got one kidney now.
Yes, the one side with 2 people with 1 kidney. And then we just started a new one 2 weeks ago.
A new build?
New build, yes. No.
I had my kidney removed when I was 15 years old, so I've only got one. It's doing a good job. Yeah, you donated yours.
I donated mine in April the 22nd.
What was that recovery like?
Horrible, the first few days. They give you some good meds.
Good straight piece of timber.
Yeah, pretty good, eh? In, yep. Good. Looks pretty good, John. Oh, by the way, do you like your Diamondback vest? Yeah. People are asking about it in the comments.
a very sore back builder for a long time, so I switched to this with the weight up here.
Oh, of course.
Bit of a dad vest to get used to wearing, but
a dad vest.
I don't know. This feels not very buildery to have a vest on. Don't have everything hanging off your hips anymore because it's all free under here.
Sure. And then you've got the clip-on stuff as well.
Yeah. It's a bit nerdy, eh?
It's pretty sweet. I mean, it's close to hand, right? You don't have to reach for it.
No.
Yeah.
Magnet.
No, that's the business. We're doing a bit of woodworking here.
Fine woodworking. It's not a real scarf joint though.
Isn't it?
Nah.
What's a real scarf joint?
But a scarf joint has an extra notch in the horizontal line. And then in the middle those two wedges are driven and they push the heel of that into that side and that side, alternating. We're just borrowing it because we need to join two timbers on one post and they need a bolt in each piece.
Wow. Alright, see you. Well, I'll be lying if I said there were no fireplaces where I grew up in Auckland, where it's a bit warmer, but I'm still not used to this. All this low-lying smoke. It's kind of crazy. But whenever Jess and I would do South Island trips, we would always book a place with a fireplace. Obviously to be warm, but the romantic element as well. This isn't as romantic. Hello, Wilson. Hello. So these are actually bearers, these are 240. But the 190 floor joists lay over the top of these bearers and they go every 400 centers. So it's a whole forest is going on this floor. But because there's a lot of wood, we want to put the fixings on first. Otherwise it's going to be quite hard to put them on. So we're doing that everywhere, eh?
Yes.
Every post. When the laser can't decide, you know it's good. That is to keep there's a lot of tension in this timber and it tends to bow up, so we clamp it down with a temporary block. Done. So this area down here is essentially a separate house. It steps down and then it steps up here, and there'll be like a corridor in the middle and you can shut the two houses off from one another. But the thing that we care about is the bolts. The bolts we put in now are galvanized, but as we get closer to the ground over here, they need to become stainless steel. So you have to be stainless steel when you're closer to the ground because it's damper, closer to the ground. The magic number is 600 millimeters. If it's 600 millimeters or less from the ground, stainless steel. Now that all these bearers are on, we put the joists. We've got different size joists for down there. Chris?
198, and the next one next to it is 190.
8 mil difference.
That makes it hard.
Should we swap that joist for another one?
Yeah. Fresh timber.
That looks nice.
It's varnish or grey?
I can't see it not.
Put some varnish on there.
189.
189, there we go. So right here, this floor frame was getting really close to the floor here. So we made an executive decision to change the depth of the joists. These are 190s, these are going to be 140s. And all that means is these 190s need a little cutout on the bottom here where it bears onto this bearer which has been raised. So one little corner checkout on every single joist and we're away. How do you feel about New Zealand construction after a few days of working on a house?
That's great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bit different to Germany?
Oh, it's just way more timber work. I love it.
Yeah.
That's good.
We have a lot of forests.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially Nelson, eh?
And that's what all that is. Literally right there. That is pine trees that we use for building. I'd love to get some drone shots of this job. It's the perfect job for that, except one thing. This happens many times a day. Helicopter. Because that's the hospital. Don't really need the drone shots, let's be honest.